it is Music Monday. And this story, so I found this story on my own, and I was like, I have to share this. So I put it in the docket. But then Edwin happened to tweet this exact same story at us. So, of course, we need to cover it. Edwin, thank you for that. I guess great minds. That's what they say, right? But check this out. I am totally stoked about this story. Boom. See how we do that now? Check that out. All right. Oh, and guess what else we can do?
On a mission to document America's vernacular music, specifically the blues, and the everyday men and women who create it. He's founder of Music Maker Relief Foundation, which helps struggling and aging musicians. He's also a photographer. His new project, Blue Muse, is a collection of portraits of musicians not typically in the spotlight. NPR's Debbie Elliott reports.
The New Orleans Museum of Art contains a French painting of Marie Antoinette, Picasso's Woman in an Armchair, and Andy Warhol's Mick Jagger. Now, you can also see portraits of Ironing Board Sam, Pat and Mother Blues Cohen, and Alabama Slim.
I think all these guys are heroes.
Timothy Duffy has grown to know his subjects over the 25 years he's helped run Music Maker Relief Foundation. It supports musicians with everything from buying medicine to booking gigs. Duffy's black and white portraits are also collected in a new book, which includes a CD so you can hear the music behind the faces.
So there you go. Essentially what's going on. Oh, Lucy bounced as soon as the NPR folks stopped talking. She's like, oh, they're done and I have to listen to you again. Not into it. I am done. So what's happening here is that some of the blues folks are finally getting at least some recognition. Whether there's any financial compensation here or not is it's not totally clear, but at least they're getting some recognition. So here, let's go back to the article here for a second. Let's full screen it. See how I can do that now? How neat is that? So this is a quote from Taj Mahal, who I actually got to see recently. Taj Mahal, both the microphone and camera passed them by. He's referring to a lot of the bluesmen who went unrecognized and unnamed, which he actually says a lot of the work was done by people who are nameless. And this is one of the, we've talked about this concept on the show before. This is one of the biggest injustices in popular music. And there's a lot of them. There are a lot of them, but this is one of them. These bluesmen who wrote all these songs that were later picked up by Elvis Presley and the Rolling Stones, like tons of the household names we all know and love. They never got their dues. They never got compensated properly. And a lot of them just kind of lived on a plantation for the rest of their lives. They lived in a cotton field for their entire lives. They would hear their songs on the radio, and they never got their fair due from it. So here's at least an attempt, to document some things. A lot of these songwriters are no longer with us. So, I mean, the only way you could kind of compensate them would be to give something to their estate or their families if they have them. And, I've mentioned this on the show before, but I'll mention it again. One of the reasons I got hip to a lot of this stuff was because, where I went to college, Indiana University, we had a rock history department. And one of the things that we did in that rock history department, this wasn't actually formally part of class, but every Tuesday night, one of the professors would have a blues documentary night where he would show a documentary about a certain blues songwriter. And the theme was the same through every documentary. This person never got their dues. They never got paid properly. I mean, it was ingrained in my brain. I can still hear it as if I just saw the movie yesterday, listening to Arthur Big Boy Crudup, who wrote a lot of the great blues songs that Elvis went on to cover. Arthur Big Boy Crudup, who just said, how many songs do I have to write before I don't have to work in a field anymore? And you just kind of, it's a lesson in justice. It's a lesson in show business. It's a lesson in racism. Big time. That's the biggest lesson. And, as a college kid watching this stuff, just thinking, holy shit, they didn't get a fraction of what they deserved. They didn't get anything. This is insane. So finally, something's happening here where they're trying to do some stuff. Let's take a look at this photo again. Look at that photo. That's pretty powerful. And that is Luther Freeman Vines, and these are his handcrafted guitars. So some of these artists had to make their own guitars. It's pretty humbling. So I'm glad there's at least some documentation going on here, to try to right the wrongs. But the optimist in me says this is great, and hopefully it's educating a lot of folks and stuff like that. The cynic in me is saying, well, it's probably way too little, way too late, because, again, a lot of these songwriters are no longer with us, and a lot of them ended up dying in poverty, even though they wrote songs that went on to make millions. But at least something's being done here, as we saw here via the NPR piece. So there you have that.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your